Hi, my name is Michael, and today we are going to be looking at how to put a line through 2 points on a graph. I could pick any 2 points, and of every 2 points, there is one line that can go through them. The points that I'm going to be using are -4, -1, and 3, 13. Notice how they have a comma in between. This is a coordinate. This is a graph. This number represents the x-coordinate in the graph. This is where this goes on the x line. -4 is right here. -1, this is the y-graph. Positives and negatives. -1 here. This is where they connect. This is where the coordinate -4, -1 will be located. And here is 3, 13. This is not entirely accurate, and this will be more than this. So a line is not curved, it has to be straight. And go right through these 2 points. I could say, hey, this represents -4, -1, and this 3, 13, and now we're done. But no, I can't do that. We have to find an equation for this line. An equation to represent the place and slope of a line is called a linear equations. There are many forms for a linear equation, but the one I'll be using today is called slope-intercept form. This is slope-intercept form. The y represents the y-axis. The m is the slope, which is basically how steep it is. X is the x-axis. Y is the location of the y-axis, and x is the location of the x-axis. And b is the y-intercept. The y-intercept is where this line crosses the y-axis. We don't know that number yet. These numbers, this number, you just have to plug in any number you want. And then it gives you this number. But first, to find this exact line, we have to find these 2 numbers, m and b. So first let's find m, the slope. We know that y equals mx plus b, and we have to find m, the slope. The slope of the line is how steep it is. We know the slope as rise over run. Rise is how high this goes. Run, how far to the right it goes. How do we find these numbers? Well, rise is the change in the y, and run is the change in the x. How do we find these? We could see the change of the y as the second y minus the first y divided by the second x minus the first x. This is an x-coordinate, and this is a y-coordinate, xy. This is another xy. We have 2 x-coordinates and 2 y-coordinates. This is the second y-coordinate. So 13 minus -1 divided by 3 minus -4. These 2 negatives and these 2 negatives make a positive. So 13 plus 1 divided by 3 plus 4. Doing basic math, you'd find that's 14 over 7, or more simply, 2. So plugging that back into the m value, we can now know that y equals 2x plus b. Congratulations, we have a slope. This number can mean 2 over 1, which means that for every 2 units this rises, it goes 1 to the right. Now we need to find b, which is the y-intercept, because infinite lines with this slope exist, and only one of them passes through these 2 specific points. To find that, we need to plug in a number on this line. How do we find that? Simple. We have 2 of them already right here and right here. This is an x and this is a y. And this is also an x and this is a y. So we could use either of these, but I'm going to use this one because I don't like negatives. We will use that when we're testing the equation when we're done. So y is 13 equals 2 multiplied by 3 plus b, which is our unknown value. 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. 6 plus b equals 13. Using basic algebra to find b, we subtract 6 from both sides. 7 equals b. Our new equation and our final equation is y equals 2x plus 7. Let's test this. I've already known this one to be correct, so let's try this one. Y is negative 1 equals 2 multiplied by negative 4 plus 7. Negative 1 equals negative 8 plus 7, which we all know is negative 1 equals negative 1. Our equation is proven to be y equals 2x plus 7. And that goes to the points negative 4, negative 1, and 3, 13. Thank you.